Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to finish the Slackers book today, but only for a moment because remember, it is a series, so we're going to get to read about this family again. We did talk about the fact that it is a fantasy fiction. In other words, if you look behind me, it is so exaggerated, so much exaggeration that it couldn't happen, could it? But it made it fun anyway to read, and it was humorous, which is funny. Okay, so what I'd like to do is we're going to review some components of this story, and then we're going to write about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to review each of the three parts of this story that we read, and then we're going to bring it all together and try to extract simply what? The five-finger retell. The main characters, the setting, the problem, the solution, and the ending. And I'm going to help you do that. It's a little bit different than our normal fiction studies, but you're going to have fun. So let's take a look. Okay, so again, we had three different stories with our sweet slacker family. Our first story was no school. That's right. So let's think about that. So Quentin and Violet come up with a plan. Indeed, they do. And they don't want to what? They don't want to go to school. So there's our main characters. And what's their problem? They don't want to go to school. So what do they do for their problem? Their solution is they decide to either act like there's something else or pretend they're very sick. But of course we see with Mother Slacker, she didn't really care about that and she sends them off to school. Uh-oh, there was no school bus. Why was there no school bus? Why did the children never go to school? We found in the end, what? Total nonsense, right? Exaggeration. Now Mother is going to come up with her own solution. Remind herself that they need to go to school. Not paying attention to the days of the week. Okay, keep that. Let's go to the next one. Here's Dad. Yeah, he lost his car. I mean, don't we all lose our cars? No. And of course he doesn't know where to go to find it, because notice the grass. But we know it couldn't hide in the grass. So he gets his neighbor. But check out Slug. He's got it, doesn't he? It's like in the normal location, which is the garage. But what was the problem? That's right. The slackers are so messy, they couldn't see the car for all of the items. Solution would be clean out the garage and it won't happen again. That's not what happened, is it? Okay, keep that one. And then our last one was the vacation and their Slug. He's so cute. Okay, so they plan a vacation and they don't really prepare for the vacation the way most people do. But again, we see them understanding the police system in Hawaii and learning how to lay in the sun. And then in the end, they're all ready to go. Except, what was the problem? He forgot to buy airplane tickets. So naturally, the solution to that problem would be the UPS. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about this story. The first thing I want to do is I want to define the word slacker. So I just think this is going to be super interesting. Here's the word slacker. When you look slacker up in the dictionary, it says avoid every, I'm going to underline it, normal, are you ready for this? Thing. Let's take a look at that. Avoid every normal thing is a slacker. Guess what the name of this book is? The Slackers. And again, why would that be such a funny title? Because indeed, we met every one of these characters and they avoid everything. They avoid every normal thing. So let's think about that. Another interesting thing before we actually move into the story, do you know that a synonym, which means another word that's the same as slacker, I thought these were interesting words. Are you ready for this? A sluggard. How about that? sluggard. Can you hear that? Sluggish. I don't really want to do anything. How about that? So if you're a slacker, you're a slugger. You're sluggish at doing anything, very slow and laborious. There's that word again, just making a problem more of a problem because you're not solving it. Look at this other word. A loafer. A loafer. And that just means you are lazy. Just you lay around and you just drag your feet to do anything. Aren't those fun words? So we have the word slacker, avoid every normal thing. Wouldn't that be terrible if we actually lived that way? I think sometimes we want to, just to get out of everything. Of course, we know it's always going to be there. But how about that? A sluggard, or a loafer? Yeah. Okay, so back to the slackers. Let's talk about that. What kind of things did they avoid? What were the normal things they avoided? Oh my word, I can hear everybody saying everything. But of course, let's think about the first story with Quentin and Violet. They were avoiding going to school, right? What was the problem? They didn't want to go to school. But the secondary problem is it was a Saturday. They didn't even have to go, but they must have avoided being a part of the real world, didn't they? And look where it got them. And then in the end, instead of dealing with the original problem, like the kids should have stayed home on a Saturday, Mom creates a new problem. She says, oh, now I know what to do. I'm going to mark the calendar for them to go tomorrow, which was a Sunday. That's right. So, interesting. Did you hear it? Instead of at the end there being an ending, a new problem happened. That's what makes this fiction story so much fun. Let's move on to the next one. The lost car. Okay, problem. Dad loses his car. Solution. Look for the car. Ending. Find the car in the garage. Decide we can't see the car because there's so much stuff in it. The ending. The car still has a ton of stuff on it. They've created another new problem because if it happened one time, it's going to happen again, isn't it? Crazy. Okay. And then the last story, what happened? This is hysterical. They decide to go on a trip to Hawaii. What's their problem? To get to Hawaii. What's their solution? Well, they practice laying in the sun. They watch TV about their policemen, which isn't generally what we do when we visit new states, is it? And then they're all packed and ready, and they find out, how does it end? He forgot to buy airline tickets. So what does he do? He creates a new problem, doesn't he? He doesn't buy the airplane tickets. He creates a new problem, and he puts them all in boxes to be shipped. Now, that's not funny. Okay, so how do we put that all together? Do we rewrite all the details of this story? No, we don't need to do that. Let's start. All right, so we know the main characters. It's the slacker family, isn't it? Very good. And what is our setting? Yes, most things happened at home, didn't they? I'm going to plug my computer in. Most things happened right there at home. The car, the kids being sick, and practicing for the vacation. So I'm just going to write the setting is at the slacker home. What's the problem? What is the problem? That's right. They avoid doing anything. So I'm going to write that. Here's the problem. They avoid doing, and I'm actually going to write normal things. Okay. And then how do they solve their problems? They don't, do they? What do? They just move on to the next thing. Which again is so different than our other fiction stories. Normally it's like crystal clear, right? But in the Slacker story, it's a little bit crazy, which makes it a fantasy, humorous fiction story. It's crazy, it makes it funny, because the Slackers, what do? For their problem, they just avoid everything. That's their problem. And then what's the solution? They move on to the next thing. But how does it end? That's what makes the Slackers funny. What do? They create a new problem. Very good. Do you see it? Do you see it? Okay, so what did I do in order to begin summarizing the Slackers? Well, what I didn't do is list out all the details. What I did is I extracted, or I took out from the Slacker Family Series book, Out and About, and I summarized what happens with the Slackers. And so it makes it really quite easy, because I kind of went away from all the fun details. So let's see again. We said the main characters are the Slacker family. The setting is at home, where most of their problems happen. Their problem? They avoid normal things. They avoid thinking about the fact that you don't go to school on Saturdays. They avoided the fact that you don't look for your car when it's lost in the garage, right? They avoided the fact that you don't go on a vacation if you don't buy tickets to get there. The solution to their problems: they needed to buy tickets. He needed to look into the garage for his vehicle, right? And they needed to understand that Saturday was not the day to go to school. None of that happened. So that's where we have the ending. They created a whole new problem because they avoid every single thing. So a really cool fiction experience, wasn't it? Nothing like that. So what we're going to do is just quickly again take a look at the fantasy fiction behind me, and then we're going to close it out there. I don't think we need to write this story is about, because technically the Slackers kind of encompasses this one shell of these main points, which makes it fun. So I'm not going to make you write a paragraph today, which I always do. We're just going to go ahead and take a look at those key components. So we did just finish a fantasy fiction. Again, it's about exaggeration. These things couldn't happen. The Slackers Out and About really captivated us, didn't they? By their funny way of dealing with what? Nothing. That's right. And that's why they are called the Slackers. Again, what is a slacker? They avoid every normal thing. They're sluggards and they're loafers. Okay, those are things we don't want to be characterized by. So again, thanks for joining me, and don't be a slacker. And I'll see you next time for our new fiction book. Okay,